Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Gambit podcast. I am Solo Base 15. I'm here with my good friend Zareth. Zareth, how are you tonight?
I'm doing well, Solo. I'm excited to be in the relevant stage now that we don't have a guest. You actually addressed me first.
Funny how that works, huh?
Hmm. I don't know if it's funny or sad how relieved I am.
It's funny. It's funny to me at least. Um, so we have a very busy show, even though we don't have any guests tonight. So there is a lot that happened. So a couple quick notes. We now have the chat on screen, so if you're watching this podcast via YouTube, you will see who we are responding to because the chat will be on screen. Um, if you're not watching on YouTube and you're just listening on Spotify or iTunes or the website or anything else, I'm sorry, you still will have no clue. With that said,
Literally no hope for you.
right. With that said, hello, Kobe. Hello, Froda. Always good to see you here. Um, let's get right into it, though, because, like I said, we have a lot to talk about
So
this week.
much.
So, first news that we can start with is Galactic Legends. We all know that there was two of them before, and now there's going to be four. Dear old Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. Good lord, I can't talk. That's how excited I am. Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. Um, he's coming to the game, and so is Big Bad revived from the death Emperor Palpatine. So before we get into the requirements, etc., what is your initial thoughts knowing that Galactic Legends are coming back already?
Oh man. It's so I've gone through such a wide range of emotions, honestly. It's like I'm excited, but it's going to be so much work, actually. But
That's yep.
I mean, I actually, so my first thought was I was like annoyed. Actually, I was like, this is stupid. I thought I was gonna be angry. Then I originally I like at some point discovered that I actually just wasn't angry about it. I was okay. I'm and now I'm kind of excited somehow.
Yeah,
How about you, Solo?
that's basically the state I'm in. At the when I first heard, I mean, my initial gut reaction was, "This is way too soon." And granted, you and I both have um, double Galactic Legends already, so it's not like we're chasing one right now. I still felt like it was way too soon. Uh, as the week has progressed, I'm feeling a little less annoyed by how fast they've come back and kind of a little relieved. Um, I was really struggling with what to gear up next on my roster because there was just nothing that I was honestly excited about. And now CG has told me what I have to gear up next on my roster, and so I don't have to think. That's kind of nice.
Good for you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, all right, so let's talk about the requirements because I think the requirements are another reason I'm not that upset by it right now, honestly.
Yeah, that could be it.
So on the screen for everybody watching, I have the requirements for Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. It requires Mon Mothma to Relic 7, Chupio to Relic 5, or Relic 5, Mothma to 5. Good lord, thank god, not 7. Chupio to 5, Obi-Wan to 5, 3PO to Relic 5, and here's the kicker. If you already have Rey, your JTR at Relic level 7 can be double used. So we have that going on. What's your thought on his requirements?
Well, for Luke's, I don't know. They're like so. Here's the thing that's really interesting to me. Like I'm glad that there's overlap, and that's good. I think it's just a really interesting thing. Like, so we have Ray at Relic 7, and if you already have Ray, or you have Jedi Training Ray, sorry, at Relic 7, if you already have Ray, the Galactic Legend, you already have that requirement. Like, you're done with it already. And so, like, that feels good, of course. Like, there can't be that much overlap. Like, we're not going to need Scavenger Ray for this, for instance. We're not going to need BB-8 at Relic 7, probably. Yeah, BB-8's slightly more likely, just because he was actually, BB-8 interacted a little bit with, or did he, with Luke? Did Ray take BB-8? I don't think she did, so never mind.
Ray took R2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm fine with it. It's like 3PO and Chewie, I guess, don't surprise me that much. It makes me nervous though. So they've chosen the two most recent marquees, and they don't really have to stretch that far to add Cara Dune, honestly, even though she had nothing to do with Luke. And I mean, I wouldn't mind gearing her up anyways, but
yeah.
Yeah, the initial stuff is good. Like I'm real close, other than Mon Mothma and 3PO, and I want those two anyways. So, what are your thoughts?
I am actually quite happy about them. Well, happy is an interesting word, I guess I should say. So, I assume that we're going to have to bring CLS to R7, just based on the last Galactic Legends needing the prior iteration of that character at R7. I am fully expecting that we'll need CLS at R7. If I do that, 3PO is almost a gift to R5 because he's going to need to be relicked up so that CLS doesn't lose guard. So it's almost like if they didn't give us 3PO to Relic 5, we would have had to do it anyway. So I'm kind of glad that, one, Ray is already at R7 on both of my accounts. 3PO, it makes sense that we're going to need to give him relics to keep guard on CLS when he's at R7. So that's not that bad. Obi-Wan works fantastic in the Jedi Luke counter to Supreme Leader Kylo, so I already had him sitting at R3 as well, so I only needed to give 2 more relics, and I honestly can't complain about that. And so the only 2 are the shard chases of Mothma and Chupio. While I wasn't expecting the Galactic Legend, almost everybody, including on this podcast, said we're probably going to need to panic farm them for something. I had assumed it was going to be a Rebel fighter, like you need X amount of Rebel fighters, including Mon Mothma, to get a legendary. It just happens to be a Galactic Legend, so it doesn't really surprise me. So this first set of requirements, you're going to have the panic farm if you're going for the Galactic Legend right away. But they're honestly, I'm not that mad about Luke's requirements right now.
Yeah, I mean, so what if the next round of requirements, we'll play the fun what if game.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not so fun, but like, what if the next range of requirements are a bunch of things you have in Gear 7 right now, just like things that don't even make sense?
Well,
like Mob Enforcer.
See, but I don't think they're gonna do that.
Well,
And
so what if, I mean, maybe they don't totally not make sense, but they're all things you don't have geared. That's all I'm saying. Like things that are difficult to predict.
I mean, I'm fully expecting at least 3 of those. You know, like with the last Galactic Legends, the veterans kind of came out of nowhere. Like they make sense in the sense of looking back on it. You're like, oh, that completely makes sense. But if you were to say to somebody 6 months prior to these coming out, oh, you're going to need the veterans for a First Order character, people would kind of be like, or at least one veteran for a First Order character, people would look at you side-eyed. So I fully expect that there's going to be something that we don't like in these requirements.
I mean, there's plenty not to like. If we're
Right.
just being totally honest, like they're gonna require Farm Boy Luke at Relic 7.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that's just gonna happen.
Yes. And I'm not going to like doing that. And then every single round of Grand Arena, we're going to fight a Farm Boy Luke with Nest as the lead because people are going to want to use Farm Boy Luke and be like, oh, well, it's going to give Nest extra tenacity.
I welcome that.
you know that that's going to show up on it. Not every board, but every board in the first 3 weeks, at
Yeah,
least in Grand Arena.
the first couple weeks we'll see
Yeah.
it often.
Yeah.
For sure.
But so like there's going to be Luke. I fully expect Lobot, which is going to be the character that everyone's going to say, God, that's so stupid. It's going to be the Rose of this Galactic Legend. But the first 5, at least, so the first third of the requirements aren't bad. One of the requirements is going to be the Rebel Y-Wing. Just because that kind of tracks with how it is, and not many people have it farmed up yet, so the Y-Wing makes sense. But the Y-Wing is a fantastic ship if we're getting, 2 fleet zones sometime in the very near future. So I'll be happy about that. CLS to R7, I already have him at R5. I wasn't going to bring him to R7, but having an offensive character at R7, there's much worse things that you could have. So that's really 7 of the 15 requirements right now really aren't that bad. So we'll see. But I'm quite okay with what we have right now.
Yeah, me too. I think it'll be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, well, for us end gamers, I should clarify.
Right. And so we talked about this, I think it was with the Jedi Luke. It's, if you're in Division 5 or 6 or 8 or whatever, these requirements aren't going to be that great for you, but you probably shouldn't be chasing the Galactic Legend right away anyway. Just because you have so much roster to develop there that there's probably better paths that you can take. But the real question is, what do the Division 2 players do where they already have one Galactic Legend? They had started on the route to First Order for Supreme Leader Kylo. Now, do they keep going after Kylo? Do they go after one of these two? Do they build the rest of their roster? Because in Division 2, you're still putting G11 characters down on defense just because your roster isn't that expanded yet. So 2 and 3 are probably that group where it's kind of like what do we kind of do here? And I don't know if I have an answer for that, quite honestly.
It's super interesting, actually, this discussion. So, like, these Galactic Legends, I mean, there's 2 sides of the coin, right? Like, we can feel annoyance, like, and I do a little bit anyways, even despite how I am a little bit excited, there's 2 different ways you can look at it, though. Number one, I'm excited for, I'm excited, like I'm saying.
Right.
The other, oh, hold on. So I'm excited, but what am I trying to say? It's been a long long day at work today. So I can understand the frustration, but the really interesting thing to me, for this, like, the lower level accounts who don't have Galactic Legends suddenly have a lot of interesting choices to make, like, and there's overlap. Suddenly it's like, okay, so Jedi Training Rey is a slam dunk to gear because you're gonna need her at Relic 7 for 2 different Galactic Legends. But like, my alt is right at the point where I'm like starting to consider Galactic Legends. I'm at 3.8 on my alt, and it's like, with these new requirements, like, I just don't know. It's going
Yeah.
to be really interesting to see. Like maybe my first Galactic Legend will be Grump Face Luke.
Oh, that is a fantastic name for him. And you've been using it all week, and I've been chuckling to myself every time you use it. Enough of this Jamal stuff. Let's just call him Grumpy Luke. But
Yeah, yeah, green milk Luke.
yeah. So real quick, we talked about Luke. Let's talk about the requirements for Papa Palp, and so it's Piet to Relic 5. You kind of knew. I mean, with all these Galactic Legends, there's going to be a character that you need to farm up the stars for. And so for Palp, so far, the first one is Piet, and he needs to be at Relic 5. We'll talk about him and his kit a little bit later. Then there's Royal Guard at Relic 3, Vader at 7, Emperor Palpatine at 7, and Director Krennic at 4. So I'm actually excited about these a little bit. I shouldn't say excited. I'm not that disappointed about them too much because on my alt, I only have 2 Empire characters total that aren't G12. Ironically, one of them is Krennic, but so if they go with an Empire kind of theme, I don't need to farm all G11 and G12 gear. I'm just farming the G12 gear. I'm not farming the gear to get them to G12, which that will make me very excited on my alt because I have Rey. I hate Rey on my alt right now because I don't have Luke yet. So if I'm just going with Empire characters, I would be 100% thrilled on that account. But admittedly, Royal Guard to Relic 3 and Krennic to 4 are kind of like, I could probably find a way to use them, but I'm not going to use them in my regular teams.
There, yeah, we'll see. I'll be interested to see if there comes out any like reworks off of this. Like there was very limited reworking in for the new Galactic Legends. Like so the cynical part of me is saying like, okay, so there's no they're not reworking the characters because that expends resources for CG, and CG has to like what they want is the ideal would be just to have people gear random bad characters as fast as they can, so they're spending money, and have those bad characters remain bad because you don't actually have to spend the time or effort to rework them. So what do? You just create a character that everyone has to have, and you force everyone to gear these specific bad characters, and then you don't. It's like Rose. Everyone will eventually have her Relic 5, and those same everyone's will just never use her ever.
Yeah. But they did rework the vets.
Exactly.
So they did have reworks last time, so we might actually see some reworks that we don't know about right now. And it could be on characters that they haven't just haven't been announced as the requirements, which is why we don't know the rework. So I kind of hope if they're going to make us gear some stupid things, we could get a small rework. I would love Royal Guard. Give Royal Guard an auto taunt at the start. I'd gladly put a Zeta on Royal Guard for an auto taunt, and then a tweak here or there. Krennic is that one character I've always wanted to use, and I actually love his leadership. It's just not the best Empire leadership. So if we even just got a reworked Krennic and Death Trooper, I would be thrilled there as well. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but
No, you're right. You're totally right, though. Like that, wouldn't that be sweet? Like, I would absolutely love getting some I was thinking this, so I was at work today. I was very bored. The thing I was doing didn't have access to a computer at all, and So I just had to sit there basically. And so I made a list of the different characters that I want and need and whatever. And like one of the characters that I really want is I would really love to get my hands on relic a relic shore trooper like that. Well, and I can talk about that a little bit more later down the line when we're talking about our matches. But there was a point in this week where I really intensely wished that I had a relict shore trooper, and I hope that he's part of the requirements. Actually,
me too, because I would love, just like you, a relic shore trooper. In fact, in this last Grand Arena round, on my ult, I needed to use the Vader counter to Rey because of my own stupidity, and leaving all other counters on defense. And so I brought my G12 Shore that is not modded well, and he actually, I didn't win the fight, but that's because of the Rey team that was placed. But my G12 Shore did some work, and if he was G13, he would have been. I think I probably could have pulled it off a lot better. So if you give me an excuse to get him to G13 while chasing Galactic Legend, I would be thrilled.
yeah, dude. I think that's the hardest part of all of this, the Galactic Legends. So I may as
Yeah.
well just share my list here. So I made a list of the characters that I have reasonably well geared. They're either gear 11 or 12. Um, and these are all characters that I would love to get to gear 13. And it's all just because of these new releases. Now, that keep in mind, this account, the account that I have on my main, like I have like over 80 gear 13s. So that's not the most ever, obviously, but it's still a pretty like according to CG, we'll never need more than 80 characters, right? With Grand Arena, like that's the
Yeah.
matchup limit. And so I already have too many characters geared at 13. But here's the list, and it's crazy to me. All right, and I'll give a small justification for each. So Mon Mothma, that needs no explanation. Piet is very relevant with Vader. Chupio is amazing in several different teams. Shore Trooper, we just talked about that. Cara Dune is amazing with Mon Mothma. Same with Pow and Viston and Scarif Rebel Pathfinder. Viston and Scarif have a double duty in the fact that their ship is pretty great at higher relic levels, or even at lower relic levels. If you get to relic like 3, I think that's a sweet spot. I just gagged a little, but there we are. Hoth Rebel Scout, Cassian, and keep in mind, most of these guys are already for me at gear 12. Ezra, Mando and Grief, they're both at 6-star gear 11. Mando and Grief are like they're fun and exciting. Aura and Zam, like Aura Singh and Zam, those two are probably on the outside looking in, but they were on my favorites just somewhat recently. Like Zam makes a lot of really good bounty hunter teams even better, and Aura has a really cool interaction with Mando teams. So then, of course, we have Krennic, Royal Guard, and then and Royal Guard. The chat's saying how a Royal Guard rework would be epic, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
He could be such an annoying, awesome tank. But Krennic is actually, like you say, I'm excited to have a relic Krennic. I've always liked his kit, even if he's not mainstream of it really. Farm Boy Luke and Darth Sidious.
Yeah.
Just because those are part of the requirements that we know of, or that we're probably going to get at least. And that's 19 characters that I want to get to relic, or to the relic state, like to gear 13.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen. I mean, that's way too many. I'm not going to spend the money on it. It's
Right.
just like, how did I come to this? Like, I have a full roster. I'm good to go. I have a ton of characters in gear 12. Most of these are gear 12, and yet all of them have like actually good reasons to get, like compelling to me reasons to get to 13.
Isn't that amazing? Like Mon Mothma, this one character comes into the game, and out of nowhere, you want to G13 Cassian, Biston, Hoth Scout, Pow, like one character just comes in and makes all these useless characters fantastic. My G11 Mon Mothma with my G12 Pow, Cat, and Cassian and Baze got 4 holds for me in defense this past round. Like, that just... That's probably my favorite part of the game is out of nowhere, this character gets dropped on you, and all of a sudden, it's like this exciting time where you're trying to figure out how all these pieces fit together, and then you realize, oh, a little less of my roster is worthless. And that's nice. That's a good feeling to not have worthless characters.
Dude, absolutely agree with that. Like, Von Mothma is the ultimate turd polisher. I'm convinced that she's just gold. She's really good.
Yeah.
Man, my second round opponent had just like barely relic. Like he had 2 characters with relics on that team, and that's it. Like, and they still just totally demolished. Like I yeah I was very impressed. They had a gear 10 Cassian and everything, and they were still just like so good.
Yeah. Yep.
They didn't have 3PO or 2PO or any of them. They was just
Yeah,
very impressive team.
then you throw 3PO into that team, and it's just downright scary.
Right? It's gross.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the follow, Grand Admiral Steve. Good to see you tonight as well. So the last thing, well, there's 2 more things that we should talk about with the Galactic Legends, and then we can move on to the next topics. Like we said earlier, there's a lot to talk about tonight. So first, CG came out with a second post on Galactic Legend requirements and said, no, all you people panicking, you won't need the past Galactic Legends to get the current Galactic Legends, which is good. That's a good thing. And hopefully alleviated some fear. And the other thing they said about the past Galactic Legends compared to these Galactic Legends is they're going to be quote-unquote equal in power. Now, there's a couple different ways to look at that sentence, but what I hope is that over time, each faction kind of gets a Galactic Legend, and all the Galactic Legends are kind of equal in power, and then whatever legendaries or roster or new characters come out are what kind of pushes the meta, this way or that way. But if they truly are equal in power, and you can start to decide which Galactic Legends to go for and to advance your roster, I think that would be a brilliant, not just brilliant for the game for the players, but I think that would be a great business model for them. Like, just release Galactic Legends every 6 months if you're going to do that, where they're actually equal in power, and let people spend the money or spend the resources on the Galactic Legend or faction they want. Because, some people wanted nothing to do with Gearing Resistance because of Rose. So if those people aren't going to get a Galactic Legend, but if you say, but hey, look at this shiny little Sith Galactic Legend we have now, you can build up your roster and get a Sith Galactic Legend, they will. Or eventually there's going to be a Galactic Republic Galactic Legend, and all the people that love clones that can no longer really use all their clones because gas is falling down the meta are going to be like, ooh, a Galactic Republic Galactic Legend. Maybe I'll go for
Galactic
him.
a lot, Solo.
I really am. But so I really hope that they are equal in power, like truly equal in power, and it's other things that will drive the meta. And I think that will be good for the health of the game, letting you work towards what you want, as opposed to, God, every 6 months I need a new Galactic Legend. I think that will be exhausting. So we'll see if they're equal in power actually means equal in power.
They've never actually done that actually with a character. They've never stated what
No,
their intended power level is going to be beforehand.
no,
They're mostly just like, hey guys, we've got this new character coming out, and who knows how good it's going to be. They have their idea. I mean, like clearly they have the idea of like when Malik was getting beat consistently by Palpatine, like they immediately buffed Malik and said, well, he wasn't as strong as we wanted him to be. Like,
yeah,
so they clearly have a picture of it. Like they do keep the meta in mind, regardless of what other people say or have decided to believe. Like CG does look at the meta, and like they've never said it though, where they, for instance, they've never said anything about how strong Luke is, other than like he's a strong new character.
right.
Like they clearly didn't intend for him to be the new meta, but like he's totally the Padme of this release. So
That he is, and you know what? I was thinking about this earlier today. Jedi Luke is the reason I'm okay with more Galactic Legends, because he is strong enough that I can use him to beat at least one Galactic Legend. So if we start getting the mismatches of, oh god, I'm facing 3 Galactic Legends now and I only have 2, Jedi Luke is strong enough, I know, to at least beat the Galactic Legends we have now. So it alleviates a little bit of fear, takes a little bit of pressure off. At least for now, until we know the kits, and God only knows, maybe when we get the kits for Palp and New Luke, we're like, well, Jedi Luke is worthless for them. But at least for right now, it's a little calming for me.
right. Oh yeah, dude. I feel bad we didn't talk about this when Ando was on with us last time, because like we were, but right before we launched the podcast, we were like, yeah, let's talk about this. Like, how stupid people are that say that Jedi Luke isn't good.
Oh God, I think I said it on this podcast like a month ago. It's honestly or no, it's the video I had about why you should go for Jedi Luke. It's one of two things. It's jealousy that they didn't get it, and they're like, oh, he just sucks anyway because I didn't get him, and I couldn't get him. Or it's just these people that hate CG so much that can't believe that they released a Luke that's not a rebel, even though now we see a Luke that probably will be a rebel. Like, CG just made another mistake. They're an awful company. Luke is awful. We can't like him. This is actually Mace's kit. It's not Luke's kit. You know, and those are the people that you'll never make happy. They probably don't even play the game anymore because it's Reddit. So
True.
they probably quit 6 months ago. But yeah, I don't understand the people that say that Luke isn't good.
Right. I guess we should just real quick rehash this discussion, because some people who would listen to the podcast don't necessarily watch all of our other stuff. But
True.
we've been arguing this till we're blue in the face, and I think you and I are probably both sick of the argument by now. But the question is Jedi Luke going to be required for Grandmaster Luke? Because I'll just say the arguments for it. I think that there are a lot of things about it that would make sense to be a requirement. For instance, not that there's a ton of past precedent, but they've already shown we need Emperor Palpatine for the new Palpatine. We need the past versions of these characters. Rey had 2 previous characters. We needed them both at Relic 7. Same with Supreme Leader Kylo. He had 2 previous versions of Kylo. We needed both at Relic 7. And now the new Palpatine needs his old self at Relic 7. That's why we're saying Sidious needs Relic 7, and Farm Boy Luke is going to need Relic 7 because of that logic. Because for these Galactic Legends, we need their past selves to be at Relic 7, and it would be inconsistent with what they have been doing in the past to require Jedi Luke. or to not require Jedi Luke. Now, there are really great arguments against it as well.
Yes.
I think either way won't surprise me that much, I guess, but um, I'm more leaning toward they're not going to require Jedi Luke, but just
Yeah.
because you can't buy GET1 and therefore you can't, if it's a requirement, you can't actually buy the new Galactic Legend, which I think they want us to be able to do. But go ahead and, I'm sorry, you've been the biggest voice against him being required. So
Yeah. I firmly believe that we will not need Jedi Luke for either of them. And there's two reasons, and you kind of brought up one. If you make Jedi Luke a requirement for one of them, you are going to tell every person that's probably Division 3 and below, you can't have this Galactic Legend, and they're not going to spend money on him. And why would you cut off your nose to spite your face and do that? And I know the Reddit community says, yeah, but that's just going to make them farm for the Jedi Luke requirements, except for it's not. Rather than panic farming and gearing up these 15 characters, they're going to say, it's going to take me 2 years to get Wampa and Hoda and Rolo. Why would I rush anything? And they're just not going to. And if you look in Division 8, you look in Division 7, 6, 5, 4, you're going to find a bunch of Galactic Legends that people have spent a lot of money on. So CG is not going to want to tell all those people, no, sorry, don't spend your money. We don't want it. You'll get this Galactic Legend in a year. It just doesn't. It doesn't make business sense. Also, we got the journey guide so that you can get all the legendary characters needed for Galactic Legend Rey and Galactic Legend Kylo immediately, so you can unlock the Galactic Legends as soon as you get these legendary characters. Because again, they want you spending money to unlock these Galactic Legend characters. It doesn't make sense to require a character that hasn't hit the journey guide yet. Because again, you're going to tell people you can slow farm your roster or slow gear your roster because Luke's not coming back for 3 months after this. It just is. It doesn't make sense. Now, if I was CG, I would 100% run Luke like the week before the final GL requirements come out, so all the people panic and try and get Luke for that requirement, thinking that he's going to be a part of the requirements, and then he's not. It's like the ultimate troll job. I don't think it makes business sense for CG to do it, and that's why they're not going to do it. It's not because there's some upstanding thing and don't want to do that to their player base. It's 100% it's going to make them less money. And so I think that's the only motivation they need.
So, all right.
Stop giving them ideas.
So I agree with you right now with the way things are. Here's my kind of devil advocate's argument against that, though. Just so there's been these rumors about galactic challenges that we're gonna have galactic challenge store. We're gonna have a new currency.
Yeah.
And suddenly GET 1 and 2 are going to take the back burner to this new fancy currency that is the one that we can't get a hold of in any great quantity. And I'm wondering what they could make a ton of money if they made GET1 something you could buy, that you could spend money on and actually purchase.
Yeah.
And I could totally see them just saying, all right, well, it costs too much for most people, but GET1 is, you can buy an unlimited amount of GET1 for a ridiculous amount of money. Therefore, you can farm all the characters you need for Jedi Luke. And we're this benevolent company, guys. Jedi Luke, we're not waiting a year. He's in the journey guide now.
Yeah. I mean, I think the indicator is if in 2 weeks we see a Wampa and a Hoda pack, what is it, like $12.99 for between 7 and 330 shards. If those two packs end up in the store, Jedi Luke is 100% required for the Galactic Legends. Like, it's not a doubt in my mind. But they've never made that pack yet. So I would think that if they were going to make that pack, and they knew, 3 months ago or 2 months ago when Jedi Luke came out, whether or not he was going to be needed for the next Galactic Legends, because these Galactic Legends have probably been being developed for 3 to 4 months, with the plan laid down in January. They would have had those packs the first time Luke came out, and they didn't. So, is it possible? And would it be a fantastic thing if they sold GET1 for all those lower accounts? Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we're going to see it happen. That's my opinion. It's, we'll find out if it's right, it's wrong, or it's somewhere in between. I don't think the way that they've been doing business over the last year or so that it's going to happen.
That's fair. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't really have a dog in that race. I'll be honest, like, a part of me wants Jedi Luke to be required because I have him at Relic 7. Like, that would be another, like, same thing. I would love for Stormtrooper Han to be required at Relic 7 because we already have Relic 7 Han, Stormtrooper.
Oh, God.
Han. Like,
if Stormtrooper Han is required, and I really hope he is, because he's probably the least geared Han at this point throughout the game, I will just laugh because we had that challenge back in December and we both have him Zeta in R7. So I'm all for it.
Yeah. Anyways, we should probably move on. The new Galactic Legends it's going to make things so different. One parting shot, guys. 3v3 with quadruple Galactic Legends is going to be... I would have said double Galactic Legends is pure agony because it is, but quadruple Galactic Legends are going to make 3v3 so...
Yeah. Oh, God, 3v3 just needs to... The second we have 4 Galactic Legends, 3v3 just needs to die.
Like, really hard.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That's going to make me sick thinking about it. Let's move on for real now.
Okay.
So we can't even move on to a new section, though, because we've got more. So we've got more news. So we have Admiral Piet.
We do.
People are saying that you should pronounce him Pete or something stupid like that.
I don't know.
But anyways, Piet is here, and... he is situationally killing Galactic Legends. What do you have to say about that?
I don't know, because I have not used him to do it yet. I have him at Gear 10. I just modded him literally last night on the stream, so that I could do the Galactic Challenge. And I think he has a lot of fun potential. A lot of fun potential. He's basically going to transform any Empire team, which is exciting because we're going to be gearing a ton of Empire characters in the next 6 weeks or so, or at least half the accounts might be. So the fact that we have this character, I'm like 90% on that he's going to be the Hux on the Galactic Legend Palp team. Like, he's going to make that team just purr, basically. I'm saying this without a kit yet, but I just feel like it's a support character that is like Hux, and he's going to sit on that Palp team and help them destroy basically anything that's in front of them.
Would you say that they're going to beat their opponents to the Palp?
I will let you say that, sir. Oh, good lord! This is why we can't have nice things. Um,
Uh,
but yeah, he's. I don't know what else to say. The video. There's so many videos out there of him just doing nasty things. I think he's a great addition to the Empire. I think he's going to be a lot of fun to play with. Mixing him with Vader is even at G11 is producing exciting results. I think CG has released 3 characters, the last 3 characters that they've released, and they said long ago we don't want you using G11 characters anymore with like arena teams and stuff. Except for the last 3 characters they released work fantastically at G11, so it's kind of funny to watch.
yeah, it's gonna be, dude. I think Piet's exciting though.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, uh, I don't think he might be. So he's wearing the same uniform as Hux. So he very well could be the next Hux in on a Sith Empire, whatever squad.
Yeah.
I guess the question is, what faction is he gonna be? He's not gonna be the Final Order. The faction doesn't exist, and there's not enough characters that would actually translate into that. Like you could put Red Trooper into that faction. Is basically it. But like Sith Eternal Palp almost has to be a Sith. Like it's in
Right.
his name, and he's not. He's also not Empire, really. Kind of he is, but like Piet wouldn't necessarily go super well with him necessarily. I mean, they could change kits. They could, like reveal a new kit that says Piet also works with Sith Eternal Palpatine, like as if he was Empire or something. But
Yeah.
I almost think that we might have like Darth. I don't know. We might just have some weird bad Sith that we have to gear to go along with him. But that's ridiculous, crazy speculation that we can move along from.
Yes. Either way, Piet is beating Darth Revan's. He's beating Galactic Legends. He's letting you most importantly, he's letting you save your Bastila, and he's kind of swapping into that spot, but for different reasons. And anytime you can keep your Darth Revan team intact for Grand Arena, it's a good day. So, at the very least, he's strengthening your team.
Right. Well, and it's just, man, I'm excited. We're gonna see some weird stuff. This coming week, I'm not gonna have Piet quite ready. I don't think to really go into the big time, but man, he's an exciting character. He makes Imperial troopers like totally nuts as well. So
Yeah, he does. So he's going to find a use, and it's going to be a good use. I can't wait to see what what the final team he settles in on is, because right now there's multiple options, and we usually take 2 to 3 weeks to kind of see the meta settle or the teams kind of settle down, so you have a final team. I'm excited to see where he lands.
yeah, yeah. The problem with characters like this is that we don't get multiples of them. Yeah. I mean, Piet hasn't proven himself that like characters I would take multiples of. If I had to pick 3, I could take a multiple of. I don't even know. I'm 3 is such an arbitrary number. 2 of them immediately I would take a multiple of, though, is I would take Watt and Bastila Unfallen. Those 2.
That's fair. 3PO.
Would be amazing.
It was Watt and 3PO were the 2 I was thinking of. Off the top of my head, I would gladly take 2 of them.
People in the chat saying Watt, and Watt.
Yes. Absolutely. Watt, 100% Watt is like number 1 on the list of who you want multiple of. Or Hoda. Yeah, I could fit Hoda on a lot of teams as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I would take another Jedi Luke, just saying.
Yeah, I'd take 3 Jedi Lukes. There we go. All right. So let's move on. If this is a Grand Arena podcast, let's actually talk about Grand Arena.
Yes.
Funny how that works, huh? So it was 5v5. It has returned. 3v3 is over. Your nemesis of the past 5 weeks. Um,
Everyone's nemesis who has, at least if you're facing Galactic Legends.
Even if you're not facing Galactic Legends, if you're facing a Darth Revan team. Um, but how are you feeling now that 5v5 is back?
Oh, dude, I love 3v3. Where did that come from? I hate it. Right now, I hate it. In this current version, I hate it. I
Yeah.
love 5v5. And I've never said that, like, I've had a couple people recently like try to call me out and say, well, like, you used to say that 3v3 was the best. I have never said that 3v3 is better than 5v5. I like 5v5 the best. It's the most
Yeah.
relevant. Like it's the thing I think about the most. Like 3v3 is a fun, just novelty thing at best. Like that right now in the game, it can't be higher than that. Um, if you if you like the game, then it's probably because you're okay. Like one of the things about it is you're probably okay with 5v5. You probably like 5v5, like because
Yeah.
that's what the game really is, and that's what I enjoy. And so people saying like, "Oh, you used to say that 3v3 was better." I never ever said that or thought that. 5v5 is like it was a lot closer back then. The gap of me liking them, 3v3 can just go burn in hell now. Unfortunately, in my opinion, which is tragic because I used to champion it. But um, it, yeah, 5v5, man. I'm excited. My best season ever. So I've had a couple perfect seasons, perfect as in 12 and 0. But I think that my best season ever was the last 5v5 season where I only had one Galactic Legend. I had to fight 8 different people with double Galactic Legends. The only one that I lost was against a guy. It was my first double guy. I kept Supreme Leader Kylo for that match and lost by 1 banner. That was my very first match of the season. I went 11 and 0 the rest of the season by keeping Kylo in on defense against 7 of them. I guess Mystery Abattoir, I kind of things got a little weird with that one, and I kept Kylo, but there were good reasons for that. But like by and large, I was able to come up with off meta counters every single time and was able to beat all of my opponents who just materially had me outgunned in every way. And now I have 2 Galactic Legends and Jedi Luke, and I'm loving life, frankly.
Yeah.
How do you like 5v5 solo?
I I've never liked 3v3. Nobody's ever accused me of liking 3v3. 5v5 is back, and I missed it so much. As stupid as that sounds, there's just so much more. Everyone says that they like 3v3 because there's so much more theory crafting, and
This
I
argument again.
yeah I completely disagree with that. I mean, there is a lot of theory crafting. I get it, but in 5v5, it's like you have more spaces that you can fine tune a team exactly how you want it, essentially. Because you just have 2 more characters on the team, so you can have that extra support character that gives a character more damage to let you counter a Galactic Legend that you just don't have on 3v3. And like Rayrock just said, some characters just aren't effective in 3v3. And it's disappointing because you have this R7 character that, he's basically used to solo Night Sisters like the Acolyte cheese. Like 5v5, you've built your roster for 5v5. You know the characters that are good in 5v5, and now you actually get to use them. So I missed it. It's back, and I've had a fantastic, fantastic week playing 5v5, and I've had a fantastic time annoying the hell out of my opponents with my 5v5 teams because my roster is actually built for it.
Yeah, dude. So, we've both loved it this week. And so what was how was your first round? How did that go? What did you do to annoy your opponents in that round?
Well, so I went into this round with basically the goal of I didn't want my opponents to full clear me at all the entire the entire round, and it worked. So in the first round, and actually this is kind of a theme that I've seen over this first week as well, is I didn't put my Galactic Legend in the front. I hit him in the back zone. I've had two opponents that I faced did the same exact thing where they hid their Galactic Legend in the back row. Difference is I put Darth Revan and General Grievous in front of the back row while other people did not. But so I had my Darth Revan in front, I had my General Grievous in front, and then I had Supreme Leader Kylo hiding in the back. They cleared my front zone, they saw the back, and in the first round, he lost 4 times to Kylo and then just stopped, completely stopped attacking. Didn't even try another team. And meanwhile, I was just able to kind of cruise through his defenses. How'd your first round go?
Let's see. The first week, so all 3 of my opponents were double Galactic Legends, but that's fine. I have my own, even though I didn't have the ultimate on Rey, and they all did. I think that's fair. That's not a huge reason to complain, as opposed to not having a full Galactic Legend, because it's a full meta team. It just I suddenly have one extra meta team. So my defensive core this week was both Galactic Legends on defense, alongside General Grievous and Darth Revan, full bastard Darth Revan, and then of course I had a really strong Newt team with a Relic 6 Droideka, and the pretty good other squads, a couple other. But this time I put Padme down because I had forgotten about the feat that required Galactic Legends Jedi. So I had Padme. I had Padme down. So my front zone, what did I do? I'm trying to remember what I put up front. So I think I put Darth Revan and Padme up front, and then the back zone was double Galactic Legend. So it's what do you kill Padme with? I don't know. Bring your Traya and your Vader, I guess. What do you kill Rey with if you get to the back? Well, obviously you use Vader and Traya and stuff.
Yeah.
And similarly, what do you kill? What are your counters to Galactic Legends in general? Well, General Skywalker is important to that. Oh, well, what did you use to kill Darth Revan? And the question is invariably probably Jedi or General Skywalker. So what ended up happening this match, he didn't place much on defense. He kept both of his Galactic Legends, actually, I think. And I just ran through his defense. I got a pretty good score. It wasn't quite in the 1930s. I think it was the high 1920s, something like that. But he didn't clear me. It wasn't close. It was extremely gratifying.
Yes. Yeah. This week has been a lot of fun. All right.
Ando says, I know, for you guys ending your podcast with "Don't be dicks." Well, yeah.
We are. We 100% are to our poor opponents. Yeah.
But honestly, so here's the thing, though. There's a distinction, and we've talked about it before, and it all goes into the whole have a plan argument that we always make. But it's if you can legitimately think you're going to full clear someone, and with the teams that you have, then by all means place a totally heinous, ridiculous, gross defense if you legitimately think you're going to full clear your opponents.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, and we'll talk about it in my third round, but I placed my defenses knowing I mean, the only thing that could have stopped me, basically, is if they threw down both Galactic Legends, Darth Revan, General Skywalker, and Padme. But then they wouldn't have been able to clear me either, and I probably still could have pulled off a win. Like, it would take every top meta team to stop me. But yeah, because we had a plan going into it. Speaking of that, round 2. So you kind of cruised through round 1. How did round 2 go?
So round 2 was tricky. My opponent has over 400k lifetime banners, which at this point in the game, just in case people are listening to this like a year later, at this stage, 400k is a pretty high number. I mean, it's not the highest. There's some people with some straight up ridiculous scores that I was like blown away by recently when someone was showing them to me. But like, I've had a lot of success in Grand Arena. Like, since Grand Arena came out, since the inception, I've only lost like 24 matches out of like, I don't know. It's very close to a 90% win rate. And like it's not quite 90%. It's quite a little bit below that. But like, you get the picture. Like, I have a pretty high win rate, and I full clear most of the time. And my total is like 400 and what is it? I can look at it right here. I have 443k. So this guy had over 400k, like a pretty legitimate threat. He actually, last 5v5 tournament or match, like the last week of 5v5, he faced good old Maurice, and good old Maurice barely beat him. So,
Yeah.
Like, good player. And I placed a pretty similar defense to the last time, very similar deck defense. And he also, so the bottom zone, straight up double Galactic Legends, which isn't fun when you don't have 2 of your own. But I mean, I was ready for it. I don't place double Galactic Legends down without a plan, at least. Like, maybe it fails, but I have a plan in place. And the thing that was interesting about his defense, so he had a composition with Rey that was actually very similar to mine, and it was like Rey with 4 tanks, basically. Like, it had Zalbar, and I guess it had Barriss. So she's not really a tank exactly, but she can get like this endless loop going when Rey's in her ultimate, because Barriss keeps trying to cleanse things, and then they keep coming back. You can get into this crazy endless loop. So anyways, Barriss, let's see, Zalbar, and L3. So just like some random characters, but very good anti-Vader tech. And what did I have to counter his Rey, but Vader? So I practiced a bunch, and then I made one mistake, and that was I did not ability block Rey when I needed to, and so I killed all the supporting cast, didn't kill her, had to use General Skywalker, and things got messy after that. I lost him on Mothma in the back. Still got the full clear with like 1878, 1873, something like that. So I got the full clear, wasn't feeling great because I wasn't that efficient either. But then my opponent messaged me, because I was like, hey, you had good defenses. Just I like to talk to my opponents a little bit, not like any kind of trash talking way, just like, I appreciate you. Let's talk about our match. And so they were like, oh yeah, cool. Oh yeah, I said I liked your Mon Mothma squad. And so, he was talking about it, and then when he started attacking, like, you could tell the tone of his voice immediately shifted. He's like, oh, I wasn't expecting Supreme Leader Kylo in the back. And I was like, yes. And so I talked for a long time about this match, but he couldn't clear my Kylo. He also failed against my Jedi training Rey. I got somewhat lucky with my Nest. She ended up with Kira. They ended up able to kill a pretty low level Mothma squad. Mothma's going to be a legit threat moving forward. Nest is not the answer, I don't think. So unless you give her Watt, I think Watt actually might make her okay in that counter, but then you're spending a lot of resources. So second match was a win. Not the highest banner, but I got the win, and it was. I mean, he couldn't clear me, and that's enough.
Yeah.
So, how about you, Solo? How was your second match?
So second match, talking about what Ando said in chat about not being a dick. So everybody, or not everybody, most people save Jedi Training Rey for offense in 5v5, and they actually use her, especially now that she's R7 and half the team is R5. So I made it a goal to put down 7 defenses that Jedi Training Rey can't attack or can't beat, knowing that it's going to take one of the offense teams of my opponent away. And my opponent was able to clear the bottom, and that's it. He cleared the bottom, one team up top, and again, they didn't make it to my ships. Not making it to my ships is a theme of this week. But then, I mean, I was able to just kind of walk through again. One shot, full cleared, kind of everything. He put one Galactic Legend on defense. It was Rey. I used my Rey to counter his Rey, and then just kind of steamrolled everything else, I guess you could say. There was really nothing that memorable about round 2, honestly. So how did your round 3 go?
My round 3, not as good of an opponent, but still like high. Like I think he was in the 380s, something like that, 370s, 370k high or lifetime banners. He had Jedi Luke though. Let's see. Went again with the pretty much the same defense. And this one was a little I liked this one a lot until the very end. So let's see, he put a really tricky Rey team down. Well, it's not that tricky. It's like a standard Rey team almost. It's like Rey with the Resistance heroes, Holdo, and L3, I think. So here's the thing though. So a really fast Finn is also a good counter to Darth Vader. Unless you have a good Thrawn. My Vader is just not a hard enough hitter he's not modded the right way to go well with Thrawn lead. So what ended up happening though, we did the math. I had to talk to Fatal about it because I was like, I was sure that my Vader was not fast enough. His Finn was 335 speed. So with Rey, that's 365 speed. My Vader is base 271, which so I mean that's like 91 speed less than Finn right off the bat, but you do get like plus 40 from all the different characters that he's with, and then you take Watt and his weapon tech, and the way I was calculating it was wrong, but in the end the Finn was 365. My Vader ended up being 365.8 speed. So like it within one, like 0.8 faster, which is like nothing at all. But because of the new turn meter rules, like you actually have tiebreakers now. It's not just randomized. So Vader, I tested it, and Vader went first every time that I tested it. It happened again in this match. And because Vader was able to go first, I didn't have Bastila Sean Fallen with him, so I just took a Gear 12 Shore Trooper instead, which ended up working in my testing, actually. And I got the win. I think I got 55 against the Rey, and then I used Skywalker to clear his Grievous with Watt, which is crazy. I didn't think people ran that anymore because Watt is so useful against Galactic Legends.
I ran into one of those this week as well.
Yeah, I think it's not a good build, but that's just me. And after that, like I got into his back zone. It was not good. His top zone, he had like a full. I felt almost bad. Like he had Relic 5 on Mando and Grief, so he clearly spent money on him. I know because like I've been farming them as hard as I can since they started, and they're still not 7 stars. So, um, but they didn't have anything that stopped troopers, so I just butchered them with troopers for 60. Yeah, it was good, and then the fleet battle was a negotiator mirror, and it didn't go well. But then he didn't clear me, so nah.
Yeah.
And that was it. So I didn't 3 fights. I didn't get cleared once, and I full cleared every time. And yeah, having Ray is every match actually. I ended. I guess my second match not so much, but besides my second match, every match the other two I was like, I have a ton left on offense. Like there's a ton I didn't use. It's like an embarrassment of wealth, even though my defenses are hard. So it's been such a fun thing to be back in 5v5 with my own double Galactic Legends.
Yeah.
How did your how did your match 3 go solo?
So my match 3 finals were up against this guy should have had over 400,000 lifetime banners, but he went for the Trapped in Carbonite title. So he had, I think, 375 lifetime banners, and he took a GA season off. So he's a quality player. He set both Galactic Legends down in the front bottom, and I kept my defenses the same, so I was very paranoid that I didn't have enough offense. I had enough to get through the Galactic Legends. Like, that's not what I was worried about. But then he had a really strong CLS team and a really strong General Grievous team up top. Actually, I think this was the Grievous SWAT I went up against as well. So I basically had to. Oh no, it was Grievous Newt. It was Grievous Newt up top. I basically had to use my General Skywalker on Grievous because I just didn't have anything to fight it. Then I used my Rey on Rey. I used my Jedi Knight Revan and Jedi Knight Luke counter on his Kylo, which failed, and it pissed me off because I've done that counter in Arena so many times and not lost. And then, of course, you come to Grand Arena and you lose. Part of it's probably that it was the fastest Hux I've ever faced. Hux had a plus 168 speed set on. So clearly had his best speed mods on his entire roster on it. But so I got it down to just Supreme Leader Kylo. I was able to clear that with Geos plus Thrawn. The problem was I had to go up top, and the only thing I had to take on his CLS team was my Night Sisters. And his CLS team were all R4 plus, including Ezra and Nest. And it was like by the skin of their teeth, but Night Sisters were able to clear this CLS team just barely. I mean, they started out by targeting Daka, and if I had lost Daka early, I would have just been toast. But thankfully, Daka was able to survive. She brought people back a few times. I was able to clear the CLS, and so I full cleared with only the one lost Supreme Leader Kylo. And then my opponent attacked today about 5 hours before the end. He cleared my front zone in one shot, which again was Revan and Grievous. Then he got to the back zone. Then he waited 2.5 hours. He attacked my Kylo. He lost once to my Kylo, then cleared. He basically, I don't know what team he used, but he did the same thing as me. As he killed all 4 members, so it was just Kylo left, and then he was able to clear my Kylo. Then he waited until 25 minutes before the round ended, which always annoys the hell out of me. Just because I already went. It's not like you're waiting to attack, to see what I did. Like, I went 12 hours ago. But so he waits.
It's like if you attack half an hour before the match ends, it means you could have attacked immediately when the match started,
Right.
but you chose
Yeah.
not to.
Yeah. Um, but so he starts attacking. He attacks my Mon Mothma team. He loses. He attacks it again. He loses. He attacks it again. He loses. He gives up on it. He goes up. He attacks CLS. He loses. He attacks my KRU team that's up top. He loses. He goes back, attacks Mon Mothma again. And this is with like 5 minutes left in the round. And he lost again. So he cleared the front zone, and that was it. He cleared the front zone, one team up top, one team. He cleared Supreme Leader Kylo in the bottom back, and that was it. So across this whole week of 3 matches, my opponents have cleared a total of 5 zones. That's it.
Yeah, dude. The guys on GG are gonna be they're gonna hate you for this, for taking you're taking so much storage space from all the pictures of failed attacks.
Well, if you go to GA Center, I don't think I have the stats pulled up right now. You look at the leaderboard, and usually when you think like who's going to lead the leaderboard in defenses or defensive holds, it's like, oh, Endall is going to be on top of defensive holds in Division 1. No. I'm sitting in, 2.5 months? It's been, not including this round, it's in 24 fights, I have 147 defensive holds.
It's funny, Solo, because before GA Center started, I would say you would be one of the very last people. Like, I would bet money that you would be one of the last in that category. Like, you were such an efficiency player, and then it was just like that season you were like, I'll just go hard defense from now on. And now, like, you've become a monster. It's really funny. It's fun to watch, though. It's fun to see.
Well, you know what did it? And 100% it was, I got Jedi Knight Luke. And the second I could counter a GL without my own GL, it let me put stronger defenses. Like, if I didn't get Luke there, I probably would not be putting Darth Revan on defense every time. And now I haven't even thought about taking Darth Revan off defense. It's just because I literally don't need him. But yeah, so, and there is exciting news that we'll leave it for tomorrow for the GA Center guys, because they deserve you to watch them. They do a lot of work to put on the GA Center.
Tons of work, yeah.
And they're good guys as well.
I don't know which one is more important, but they have the power combo. They have both.
Yeah. But so it's going to be an interesting leaderboard in Division 1 tomorrow night. So I'm very excited to watch that show.
You would be.
I would be. But you had a good week too, so you're not falling behind at least.
You're right. I'll be honest, I hardly watched it last month because I was just so not into 3v3. And I kept just like, 8-4. That's my worst record ever in GAC, just by a long shot. It kills me that terrible. The GA Center comes out, and then I have my worst thing, worst season in 11 months, or 11 seasons. But that's what it is. So we just gotta keep trucking. If I can just never lose another match, then I'll be good. So,
well, there you go. Just don't lose. It's that simple. But yeah, so it's going. It's GA Center's made Grand Arena fun again for me. I always enjoyed it. The strategy portion is what I enjoy, but GA Center and you're actually competing against other people. Like, I'm never going to get first. I know that. It's just not the way I play. When you go as strong defenses as I have these past 3 months, it's not guaranteed I'm going to full clear every time. I haven't, especially when I go up against good old Maurice, because his defenses are absurd. you know. So I'm never going to get first, but having a group that you can compete against is a lot of fun. So thank you to the GA Center guys for putting this on, because it's literally been a blast for me, keeping up with everybody else.
Yeah, a huge shout out to those guys. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Really appreciate what they're doing, and I love that. We have uh, our Gambit Alliance of Creators group, and we're starting to plot some things for it. But I just like that our group, the top of the leaderboard is just like, there's one guy who's not in it, and the rest of the rest of the group is the rest of the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah.
So
yeah. That's agreed. That is very fun to see. I have enjoyed that as well, especially with Endall, because he started in the lower Division 1, but he got promoted. And so now he just joined the top of the leaderboard, and he's like, "Hey guys, I'm here too. Don't forget about me."
Damn it all. And I'm like, damn it all, Endall. why can't I have nice things? No, but along that vein though, it's cool to see, like, the thing I like about the GA Center guys, or about this whole system and everything is, like, Endall isn't a guy who's kept track of his overall record. Like, I started doing it just as a novelty for my videos, because I started making videos of all my Grand Arenas from the start. And I was like, oh, let's just keep track for a while. And so I've just maintained that, so I know my total record. But most people haven't. So I'm guessing you don't know your total overall record.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But like Endall, he's just like, yeah, I mostly win. But now we can actually show, like, how much does Endall actually win.
Yeah.
And similarly, like, like some of the more entertainer based GAC players, streamers, like, I don't know, a few people have been like, really? Like, they don't actually, like, they talk like they win all the time, but they don't.
Yeah.
It's like, I think maybe that's one of the most satisfying things about GA Center is, like, having a few of these myths dispelled. And and a lot of people are just like, well, I just watch so and so because they're funny.
Yeah.
And I'm like, totally fine. Like, no judgment from me, certainly. I just like, if honestly, I should probably try to do the more entertaining stuff too. I don't as much. And what's frustrating to me is when I'm like, oh, this is a good counter, and someone's like, well, so and so didn't use it, in fact they told me it's bad. And I'm like, well, so and so is an entertainment person and he loses all the time.
So and so is 11-13 right now.
Right.
But I will say, and T-Bone even said it in chat, cough cough, Arnold. If you look at you look at the leaderboard, at least for last week, and it's Fruit Ninja, then the 4 GA Center or GAC guys, and then Arnold's actually sitting in 6th at 18-6. So he's, since GA Center started, Arnold has actually been putting on a strong show. Now, the one thing that he does is he places a strong defense as well. So he doesn't full clear all that often. So it's actually easy to think that he's losing because he doesn't full clear. But he's 18-6, which is, credit where credit's due. He's winning.
Yeah, absolutely. He has absolutely, like I've said in the past, that he's not a good player, and he's made me eat my words a little bit, frankly.
Yeah.
I still think some of his theory is, just like I think everyone's theory, like, because it's not mine. I think it's a little off, but, like, he's also super entertaining. It's I don't have anything against Arnold at all.
Yeah.
Just to be real clear. And in the past, I absolutely would have said he's one of those guys who sucks, but is entertaining.
Yeah.
Absolutely would have said that in the past. And, you know, we'll see if he continues. I guess we'll see.
We will. How, how the show he tries to put on. Yeah, he puts on an act, and that's why he has followers, and he does it well. So it's good to see that he's actually doing well as well. With that said, it's probably time to move on to our next section. 'Cause
Sure.
we've been talking a lot so far, and that is our podcast question section. We do have 4 questions. I will say at the start, if you want to ask a question and have it end up on the show, you can join our Discord. There's a link down below if you're on Twitch, or actually in the description below if you're listening to the podcast as well. For our Discord, there's a podcast question section. Throw it in there, and the following week we should get to it. So, with that said, let's get started. And this is based off of our podcast last week. It's kind of a follow-up question to what we said about talking about how ships are stale and could benefit from a modding system or something. So, question is, I think that you could remove the staleness by doing ship upgrades. They could function similar to mods and providing certain stats, but make them fun in-universe things like specific weapons like a quad laser cannon, an ion turret, dedicated astromech, shield generators, etc. I think this would allow us to make our ships unique and customized and move away from the current predictability of ship battles. How would you feel about an addition like this?
If it's well implemented, then cool.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't care. Like quad laser cannon. So I like all the in-universe stuff, but I still love this game, and we have to put stun guns on everyone, and we never actually see anyone in universe ever use a stun gun, Mark 5 or otherwise. Like,
yeah.
that's not a thing in Star. Like, yes, it is a thing in Star Wars theoretically, technically, but if everyone's wearing them, like you know, those old memes of General Kenobi, people calling him General Carbanti, and instead of wearing armor, he's just wearing like slabs of Carbanti. Like, I don't care. It's just random gear. Like, it's just bottlenecks, the same thing. So if it's like quad lasers on the Falcon, I'm like, okay, like.
So
Or just make me apply Carbanti. I don't care about that, frankly. So if it's well implemented, sure, having a customizable ships to be able to stat them, you know, mod them, so to speak, the way we want. That's probably the appealing part. What do you think, Solo?
Yeah, I think that, like, if you do it in a sense of like, oh, you can choose this, or this, and you only get one, and you put it on the ship. Do you want to put speed on Anakin, or do you want to put a stronger weapon and make him hit harder, or do you want to put shield generators to protect him? And so people can build the fleets how they want, but it's not like RNG like mods. It's almost like a relic level, I guess you could say, but you choose which direction the relic level goes in. It's like you can improve damage, or you can improve shields, or you can improve speed. I think that would actually make it really interesting to watch how people build their fleets, and I think it might provide a kind of uniqueness because they never change the fleet meta. People don't like ships enough for them to work on ships that often, so the fleet meta lasts like 10 to 12 months every time. So if you at least let us vary the ship meta by switching up how we want the ships to perform, I think it would be interesting, sort of. I didn't play this game for ships. I still don't play the game for ships, but at least some variety would be nice.
Yeah, I guess the thing is, I'm already strapped for time. Like, I don't want to do my mods. Like, I recently discovered that I have two 20 speed mods just in my main account inventory, along with like two rows, literally two rows beyond that. So like total of 12 mods that are all at 17 speed or higher that have just not applied at all on my roster.
Yeah.
And it's because, and it's not like, oh, and then the next best is just 12. It's like it just keeps going. And I probably am gonna have to start deleting +9 mods on my, like, I have a ton of good mods. I just don't want to spend the time to apply them. I recognize they're incredibly important. I do spend a lot of time on mods. I just don't want to spend more time on mods. And if we have to do that, a similar system with ships, I can't guarantee I'll do it very much, frankly.
Yeah, that's completely fair. All right, next question. I am a 3.9 GP Division 2 player, recently unlocked Jedi Knight Revan and trying to figure out where General Kenobi fits in. My Padme team would suffer without GK in it, but so would my JKR team. How do you suggest I utilize GK between the two teams? This was sort of answered on the Discord server, but I feel like it's kind of a common question, so we might as well answer it on the podcast as well.
Absolutely. Well, and it's valid. Like, that was the hardest part about Jedi Knight Revan for me, or about Padme for me, was Jedi Knight Revan no longer had GK, because there is no denying that GK fits really well on a Jedi Revan squad. Like, you just can't. He's awesome on a Jedi Revan squad. And so the answer, though, and I think I'm guessing that Solo, you're going to agree pretty wholeheartedly, is you have to put him on Padme in 5v5 at least. 3v3, there's wiggle room, but like 5v5, and then just don't look back, because he is amazing with Padme, and he's only amazing with Jedi Revan.
Right. He's basically unkillable on Padme. But yeah, I completely agree. Even with Jedi Knight Revan, I didn't run GK on my Jedi Knight Revan team. I either ran Chewie or Ezra, so I never really used Kenobi on my Jedi Knight Revan team, except for to throw him in after I would claim first, then put Kenobi in just because he dropped less, basically. But so I never used him on Jedi Knight Revan, so you can easily not use him. In fact, Plo is fantastic on a Jedi Knight Revan team as well. Maybe not an R7 Plo. Cough, Ando, cough. But
Ando's talking about Juanita. He's autocorrect. Change Juhani to Juanita.
I do actually. If I put Jedi Knight Revan on defense, I will put Juanita with them every once in a while as well, because she is a tank, and she has a stun, so it's annoying at least. And yeah, that's the nice thing about Revan, is that he makes almost any Jedi good, and that is 100% true. He really does. CG has already admitted that Rey isn't a Jedi because Jedi Knight Revan makes them too good. So
people saying Juhani isn't as bad as people think she is. Juhani isn't as good as some other people think she is.
That's fair, but she's not Rose. Like, she's not completely worthless.
You're right about that.
And most people had to have her R12, or R12, good lord. No, Solo, no. G12 for, the legendary event. So you have this G12 Jedi that taunts and stuns. There's worse that you could use.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Next question.
Actually, Solo, I'll be right back. I gotta go grab something.
All right.
Literally like 15 seconds.
We're counting right here. Stop giving CG ideas. Oh, they've already got the ideas. Don't you worry. Let's see. Her relics made her somewhat decent. Ando, they might have I can honestly say I don't think my Juhani will ever find the relics to find out if they made her decent. Uh, and 17 seconds, Aerith. Slacker.
Okay, well, I said I was back, but I didn't want to interrupt you, and then I realized you were probably timing me. So I'm sure I spent at least like 5 or 10 seconds waiting for you to stop talking.
All right. So next question, and this is actually, I think we can spend a little time on this because I have noticed a lot of changes with this. Do you feel that there's an unintended nerf to the gain 100% turn meter abilities with the turn meter overflow changes? And this person found themselves using call to action a lot less recently because it usually means you go last after every other ally when you use it. So with these new turn meter changes, and I do think that they're good overall, but I am tending to agree with him that all the gain 100% turn meter abilities are kind of like sly nerfed. It's not an intentional nerf, but I have noticed CLS isn't going after he gets his bonus abilities, and there's other characters that just aren't going because of these turn meter changes. So I do think that there was a nerf to it. I think it's a nerf that we should live with because honestly, these turn meter changes were really good, but I noticed this. I mean, I noticed my CLS will do the form switch and then he'll go third, which is kind of annoying because it really changes how you play with some of these teams or do some of these things. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, did they think through every single interaction with TM that there can be? No. Like,
Yeah.
I would say that that's actually maybe one of the biggest CG blind spots is TM interactions. Not that I necessarily think that's unreasonable. Like you're always going to have something you're weakest at, and TM is just really hard to see all of because the whole picture, like they make so many kits with turn meter and all these interactions, and it's just crazy. And then they'll release a character, like they're aware of it because they'll every once in a while they'll release a character that just totally stops TM gain, and it really messes with a lot of different teams.
Yeah.
Like Hux or Malik or etc. They know that what they're doing though. I think that sure there could very well be like my guess is that Call to Arms was intended and they would still prefer it to be like you know Luke immediately takes a turn after switching stances.
Yeah.
But my guess is that they actually looked at that one thing and decided it didn't break the game. Because I'm guessing like CLS teams are very relevant still. I'm guessing they just, if you're going to make a change like that, and it is a pretty big change. I mean, the fact that my Vader could reliably go first with 0.8 speed faster, like, they clearly wanted those tiebreakers, and we've been begging them for tiebreakers for forever, for like years, frankly. It's like, who goes first? Everyone's got 100% turn meter. It's just random. That sucks because now my character, who is way faster and better and should be going first because he was like the second in line to 100% turn meter, now never gets a turn. It's stupid.
Yep.
So if you're gonna make a big change, you're going to have some consequences. And I think the call to action example is a great example of a negative consequence because I would love it if he immediately took a bonus turn or something instead. But, they can't go back and change everyone's kits. That would just change the game too fundamentally much. So that's my thought.
Yeah, 501st with Rex was also really dumb. 501st with Rex was really annoying.
It was dumb, you're right.
But yeah, I do think there was that unintended nerf. I have noticed it. I think the turn meter changes make the game better overall. But like you said, there's just like this small carve out of 3 or 4 abilities that just they're still good abilities. Like Call to Action is still a fantastic ability. You just kind of have to deal with the consequences of it as well and accept it. So that way, when you use 501st with the clones, you know your General Skywalker isn't going to take the third turn or the second turn or whatever, you know, turn it ends up being. You can actually plan for when Skywalker is going to take a turn, or when troopers go, you don't have to do these ridiculously complicated math formulas to line up the troopers anymore, which is nice. You just make Death Trooper 1 speed faster, and he will go before Range Trooper. It doesn't have to be 0.8 times, Stark speed plus 20 and carry the 1. It's just, oh, Death Trooper's 1 speed faster and he's slower than Stark. There you go. He's going next, which is very nice. It helps. It helps when you're doing your mods and not having to do complex formulas.
Oh man. Oh well, yeah. Like the troopers, after like they were getting to the point where like you just don't use troopers that much anymore.
Right.
I mean, we're still in that spot really, but yeah, like we were at this point where I was like, if I remod Stark at all, I have to remod like 4 other guys,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just not worth it to me.
Agreed.
It just sucks. So like the fact that they're actually yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm distracted by the 69 comment in chat.
Do we need to get you into the deck talk chat, Sarah?
Oh man,
Where's Derp? He's been overly quiet.
I deleted too many of his messages. Things no one regrets. Hashtag things no one regrets.
All right, moving on to the next question. This is our last question, and it's more of a way to poke fun at Zareth question, which is why I included it. So, what do you think of all these streamers and YouTubers that coming out with these nonsensical Galactic Legends speculation posts just for clickbait?
I'm one of those guys, I guess. Though honestly, I think that a lot of the stuff in my post, obviously everyone thinks the things they do are reasonable, but I think like I just frankly yeah, I get people want to make videos and want to make money, and they're gonna sensationalize things. They're gonna like just totally, say crazy things about like things that maybe they don't even think necessarily, but they're like super over the top reactive, super negative, super positive, whatever. And I just wanted to do a video on analysis of it. So like I just made a video. I was just like, well, here's what I think. Here's how I feel about it. Like, so yeah, I made one, but and it was frankly, I wanted more clicks, but I also wanted an alternative viewpoint out there because I knew that people were going to be pulled in extremely different directions, and I wanted people to actually have a take that was maybe a little less emotion driven. Like,
yeah,
like, okay, like, yes, I have feelings about it, but here's like, this is the reality. If we're going to continue to play the game, here is some stuff that I noticed in the post that I think are going to actually help, potentially help you. So
yeah,
I don't know. If it was designed to poke fun at me, I guess I don't really feel that poked because
yeah.
What are your thoughts on it, Solo?
You know what? I think the video, well, I don't think, I know the videos get made because people want to watch them or want to discuss it or want to see what other people think. So I'm all for the videos. I didn't make one just because I don't have time to make videos right now because of work life. But this speculation time is the fun time of the game. it's just like in sports when you get to the free agency period and it's like, who's your team going to sign? Or you get to the baseball trade deadline and it's like, who's going to get traded to your team to help you make the playoff push? It's the same thing with these Galactic Legend, videos of who are we going to get to, or who do we have to do to get these Galactic Legends getting all excited. And there's something about, at least me, I know, I could watch probably about 6 different speculation videos, as long as they're not an hour long. But if it's like just a 10-minute quick, here's who I think, here's why I think this makes sense. Like, I like seeing other people's opinions. That is what I enjoy. So I'm all for the videos. Like, I was watching Operation Metaverse last week, and they did their speculation portion of their podcast as well, and we kind of did it above as the same thing.
Sure.
And they had completely different views on who were going to be needed than I did, and I thought it was really interesting that here's these two people that I respect their ability to play the game and what they do in the game and everything that they've achieved so far. And their thought process is like 100% completely different from where I am. And from where you are too, because other than Jedi Luke, we mostly agree about a lot of the characters that we think might be needed. And like they're talking about how a Jawa might be needed and Tuskens might be needed because they were on Luke's journey. I was like, I never thought that. I thought we were going to keep in this faction with like maybe 1 or 2 others just kind of thrown in. And so I found it incredibly interesting to see what these other people were saying. So it might be clickbait, but I'm all for it because I think anything that gets people excited about the game is a good thing. That's, at the end of the day, that's what it is. If it's a negative video saying, rabble, 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 R4, they shouldn't make us do this, well, then I think the video can go burn and die. But if it's like a speculation post that's trying to get people hyped up for what's coming, I love it. I want more of them.
Yeah, I'm good with them. I guess my thought is there was a point when there were some content creators, some of the bigger ones, who basically just like got together and decided on what to say beforehand, and then they all just posted the same thing, and it was like they were trying to reinforce each other, I think, so that they'd have the prevailing opinion on how things were going to shake out or something. They gave themselves credibility by, like, they manufactured it by, look, like this other big YouTubers also saying this, and to me it just, that annoys me. I don't want to hear the same stuff and the same reasoning. I agree. I'm open to new suggestions. Like, I make my speculation and we can move on. But when it's all just the exact same speculation, and then I have to contend with other people saying, well, no, because most other people think this, and I'm like, it just frustrates me. I'm like, how about you don't quote someone else? You just tell me why you think that. Instead.
How about you don't get together and tell me that a character sucks and then they become meta for the next 6 weeks?
Yeah. Sadly, we couldn't get so-and-so to work.
Yeah.
The test account, yeah. Oh, jeez. I could laugh forever about that.
Every time. All right. With that said, that was our last podcast question. So we've been going for almost 2 hours. Let's kind of hit the home stretch here. We both have alts. Your alt is sitting, about 3.9 million right now?
Yeah, 3.8.
Yeah.
That's the barrier. Next time, Division 2.
Ooh, making big moves. So, how'd your alt do in 5v5?
Well, it did well. I don't even know. So I think I'm gonna go on a. I'm gonna try for top 10 again. If I can remember to do my fleet battles tonight, I need to do 3 more because I always just like do the daily. Like I just jump in and then exit out immediately, forfeit. So I need to actually get 5 arena wins with ships, which is irritating. But if that's not enough, like, so I won all 3 of my matches. I got my 60th, 61st, and 62nd consecutive win on that account. So I'm rolling. It's been good.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. Like the first 2 matches were just pretty easy. Um, not much. Not. I think the most interesting thing was all of my opponents had the negotiator, which is new. Most of my
Oh.
opponents don't have the negotiator, and one of them even put it on defense. But I also my alt has another trick up its sleeve. I not only have a 7-star negotiator to put on defense, I also have, and this in a couple days I'll have a 7-star malevolence.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, so my malevolence still just pwned that noob GK, and it was good. But I was like, oh, look at this, we're kind of getting high level. I get to actually finally use like my high end fleet and feel like it's actually necessary now. Because before this, I mean, and I anticipate it going back down to this point, but most people just place some kind of Star Destroyer, and that was a sorted accompaniment. So yeah, it's been pretty easy. My finals opponent actually placed Darth Revan on defense. Their full bastard Darth Revan, which that team has always given my alt problems, and this was no exception. I noticed it early on that it would, so I threw in a burner, and then I used a couple meta teams and burned it down. Got the full clear. Then they didn't attack. So, anyways, I'm good to go so far. We'll see. I'm at the point now that it would be a really sad thing to drop my winning streak, though. So, yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen. But how did you do on your 6 million account?
I think
Alt
it's
account
six
solo.
point three now. Let's see. It is quite high. 6.273. So just under 6.3. Oh, and the new event has started. God, it's already that time. So last 5v5 I really struggled on this account because I unlocked Ray, and quite frankly, my roster was not in a place to compete with other unlocked Rays. So I was really nervous coming into this round, and then I lost my first match, but just by banners, by 3 banners. It was 1917 to 1914, and it was very. So I started to get really scared that it was going to be a repeat of the last 5v5, and then I went up against somebody with Supreme Leader Kylo. He kept it for offense, and I won. I mean, I walked through, basically. 'Cause I do the same thing on my alt that I do on my main now. I leave Darth Revan, CLS, Padme, and General Grievous on defense. And since I was up against Kylo, I also put Rey on defense. Uh, and then I forgot for the last round that I didn't, or that I went up against the Kylo and I put Rey on defense, because in my final match I was up against another Rey, and I don't have a good Rey counter other than Darth Revan is my only off meta counter, and if they put Malik on the Rey team, I'm screwed basically. So I usually just keep Rey for offense when I face a Rey. I completely forgot. I just let it set defenses from the round before. I look down at the bottom of the screen, and there's Rey, and I have both Darth Revan and my Rey on defense. So I, through duct tape and magic, basically, I was able to counter his Rey mostly with my Vader, who's my Vader team is not set up to counter Rey's right now. But so I was able to kill Rey, Haldo, and who's the other one? Oh, L3 on the team. And then the Resistance Hero bros were still alive, so I was able to clean them up easy because they had no leadership ability. Um, and then I was able to just kind of clear the rest of the board. He struggled mightily and didn't full clear me at all. He cleared one zone. And I ended up getting the win, but I was so scared when I saw Rey was down on defense. I was like, oh great, I'm gonna start 1 and 2 because I'm an idiot. Like not because he was gonna beat me, just because I'm an idiot and didn't keep a Rey counter. So thank God Vader did some work at least, and I was able to finish 2 and 1. Because I can't go another season on my alt where I miss Kyber. That was extremely depressing last 5v5. But yeah, so that's how my alt did. It was, in theory, a successful week, just with the one loss right at the start.
Would you say that there's a vast array of Rey compositions out there?
Yes.
You just kept saying Rey, and it just kept making me think of...
Yes. I didn't want to give in to the joke, but I will. I will give in to the joke. I will say, good. What's interesting to me is, on my alt, I face a lot more Rey owners than I do Kylos. Like, my pod this time was 7 Reys and 1 Kylo. And when I did 5v5, it was really the same, where I mostly fight Reys, which is interesting to me.
Oh, well, yeah, I think most people went for Rey initially. I don't know. That's my impression, is that Rey is... There's more Reys out there, but...
Yeah, now I'm curious. So we'll see. Filter by all. There are 15,000 Reys right now in the game, according to swgoh.gg. Let's see Kylo's.
15,000, okay.
Yeah. Player data, rank, all. And there's 14,300, basically, Supreme Leader Kylo. So there's only about 700 more Reys out there, which isn't a small number, but when you consider that we're talking tens of thousands, 700 isn't that big of a difference.
Yeah, you're right. That's not a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, that was a little tangent there at the end. So yeah, that's how we did with our alts. We're both... God, so you're 6-0 on the week, and I'm 5-1 on the week between the two accounts. That's not a bad start to 5v5.
No, not bad. I mean, that's the one that we care about, so it's good.
Right.
Good that we're actually doing well. I mean, 3v3, it's nice to do well on as well, but...
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I do care about doing well in it. For like, just to be real clear, like, just because it's not my very favorite thing, I still feel extremely, like, embarrassed, really, that at how poor of a showing I had last time. So
yeah. All right. So we've had 2 weeks preparing for this 5v5. But what have you done in the past week for Grand Arena to prepare for it?
So let's see. Not much. I'm trying to think of what I did. I got Hoth Rebel or Hoth Scout, whatever, Hoth Rebel Scout. One of the Scout bros, the Hoth bros. He's up to gear 12. Maybe I did that last time. I don't remember. What did I do? I should have actually answered that question before we actually started tonight. But getting Rey has just consumed me in a big way. Like, it just depleted all of my resources. I put everything into it. So I've just been I've been wanting to put more gear on guys, but I don't necessarily have a huge excess of gear. So I'm trying to build up all my reserves. And it's actually good that I've been doing that because now we have the Galactic Legends coming up, and I have some resources to spend at least. I have Piet at gear 10 right now. And I did buy the pack for him, so he's 4 stars. I have actually been mini whaling. I'm doing the whale light version of Chupio. And so he's at 6 stars right now. And honestly, it's someone hashtag whale problemed me the other day, whale problems. But I was like, this shipment's farm is so miserable. Like, he never shows up. They're like, hashtag whale problem. So I was like, yeah, I guess that's fair.
That's fair, yeah.
But it's like I went like 20 some shipments in a row where he just didn't show up, and I'm like, how does this make sense? I think I was complaining about it last podcast. Like, he just doesn't show up. I'm in this really weird disarray though of thought of like, I think my inclination, so my prediction is, and I'm not going to get super into it, but my prediction is that Luke is going to be the most obnoxious person to kill since Rey. Like, he is just going to be the worst. He'll be like, hey, you thought you killed me, but you just killed my projection. You know, like, he never does anything to attack in the whole movie. His character is never attack. It's just like protect and defend and delay. And that's what he's like. I wonder if one of his Zeta is going to be like reduce the total time on this match by 1 minute.
Oh, good Lord. Hey, chat was yelling at me to not give CG ideas. Please don't give CG ideas.
Yeah, seriously, like, horrible. But I think he's going to be the most obnoxious character ever, and he's not going to hit very hard. Or like, he'll hit hard, but he'll hit like as hard as Rey does. You know, like not like destroying everyone's face with it. And I think Sith Emperor Palpatine, or whatever, he is going to end up being really offensive oriented. And I'm guessing, like, I would really prefer to have the more fun character first, the one that I can actually use on offense and kill things with. Yep. I'd much rather have that than the one that no one really wants to use, and so they put him on defense. Like, I just so yeah. That being said, I found myself in this weird conundrum of I've committed to buying shipments of Chupio, and I'm going to get him up to relics regardless. But if I do that, wouldn't I be better off going for Luke? So I truly have no idea. I'm in this weird state of just over investing on things that aren't necessarily efficient. So yeah, that's what I've done. I've quit. I've just put myself in some kind of an existential quandary. What about you, Solo?
So I got Ezra to G13 and Relic level 4. That's what I was working on before Galactic Legends were announced, and I really wanted to finish that because, you know, we have the potential for 2 different Jedi teams, and I wanted to make sure I had that, basically. So I finished off Ezra, and then I got Piet to gear 10, and he's double Zeta'd.
Nice, me too. Double Zeta.
Yeah. I honestly, I paused doing that because I'm at the point now where I want to save all my Zetas for the Galactic Legends. I basically want to save up 120 Zetas. That way I'm always prepared for when I get them. But I figured he was worth it to spend some Zetas early on. And then, other than him, I looked at, if you go to swgoh.gg, they now have the gear you need list for the new Galactic Legends as well. And just from the first rounder requirements from Chupio and Mon Mothma, were the only two I don't have G12. I need 200 of the G12 furnaces, and so I started farming them because we're going to end up needing like 800 of them for each Galactic Legend, so I might as well start the farm now.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Oh, it's depressing, kind of.
It is. It sort of
exciting.
Is. I can also tell you for the Galactic Republic event, I just beat the hardest tier with my Old Republic, so it works, in case we were wondering. And it was just Revan, Bastila Jolie, Mission Zalbar.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Good to know.
All right. So that is everything we've done to prepare for the week. We have had, I think we've had a good podcast so far. And so with that said, I think it's time to wrap up. And
right. So Solo, why don't you tell us about all these different great things that you're way faster at talking about than I am?
Yeah, because I've stopped caring about them. We both have YouTube pages. Search for our names on YouTube. You shall find us. It's Xaereth, Xaereth, or Solobase15, SOLOBASS15. You will find our YouTube pages. Obviously, we have Twitch pages. We have the Gambit podcast one, which you're on now, and we appreciate all of you as followers. And if you haven't clicked follow, please do. That helps the channel grow. We also have our individual pages. So if you search my name, Solobase15, you will find my Twitch page. Some heathen stole Xaereth's name, so he is Xaereth_prevails. You search that and you will find him. Please leave a follow for both of us as well. We do our Grand Arena streams on our Twitch pages, so we would appreciate those follows. We have a Discord server. I already talked about it earlier when we talked about the podcast questions, but it is a Grand Arena focused Discord server. It's up around 1,500 people now, so there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people to help if you have Grand Arena questions. And if you make Kyber, we make your name blue. It sounds stupid, but a lot of people get excited about that, including me. So if you've made Kyber, come show off and brag for everyone and get a blue name on the Discord server. Now, finally, the probably most useful thing that we have is a Google document that is a counter sheet where it will list the full 5 members of the team that we faced. It will list the full members of the team that we used to beat that team, and then directly next to it there's a timestamped link. If you click the timestamped link, it will bring you to the actual fight itself, and you can see how strong the counter is. You can see what moves we used on the counter, and you'll see how the counter works. It is much better than just seeing, a little head of Talzin and then the counter saying a little head of Stark. You will see how good the counter actually is and how much gear we have on those characters, which is quite important when you're talking about counters. And with that said, Xaereth, it is time to wrap up.
I agree, Solo. This went just long enough, I think.
Yes.
That's what she said.
Oh, good Lord. That's how we have to end it.
It is.
So, despite what we do with our defenses in Grand Arena, remember, don't be a dick. And evil sucks.
All of those things, yes. Has Mudbum's Kylo counter for Rey made it on Stando? Okay, fine. I'll tell the story for the people who don't. So Mudbum gets all excited. He's saved his Zeta or his ultimate material for Supreme Leader Kylo, and so he finally gets Supreme Leader Kylo unlocked. It is immediately able to get the ultimate material applied, and we're all like, yes, this is cool because it's 3v3. We get to see him kill Rey with it, like on stream. It's awesome. And then Mudbum just goes straight for Kylo, or for Rey, and doesn't even like touch the ads. And everyone's like, like I know Ando said it too. Of like, we all thought that it was like this cool new counter that he had. Like he built it all up, and then he just like ended up dying a horrible death. Didn't kill anyone, and we were like, how? It was like you were the chosen one. we thought we were going to see something awesome, and instead we were like, wow, that wasn't great. So
Wow.
no, I haven't put that on my counter sheet. I don't. It will. That's the kind of thing we're trying to avoid, but it was still really funny. So okay, I'm sorry that took a long time, but might be worth that explanation. So
Yeah, well, we get to laugh, so at least there's that.
indeed. All right, folks. Have a great night and week, and don't be a dick.
Yes. Good night, everyone, and thank you for joining. We'll see you on Friday night for our Grand Arena streams, because it's 5v5 and it'll be a fun stream. With that said, evil sucks. Have a good night.